Finally, wrestling has come to the Walking Dead universe. Nah, but all jokes aside, this was a fun episode. But I'm Brian Castrillo here with another review, this time for Fear the Walking Dead Till Death. And this was, we're going to zero in on what Sherry and Dwight are doing. And last time we left them, they were with the family, the wife and husband and daughter that had helped save them in their bunker. And of course, last season, right as the bombs were going off, they went down below and this family helped save them. But this episode, we start by seeing two guys and they're kind of stealing, looks like they're pushing a cart. They got some vegetables, some fruit, and they actually have a dragon fruit. Where they get that in this, I guess that's kudos to Strand, because these guys are working for Strand. But a dragon fruit, that was pretty impressive. But they come. Then here comes these horses. They're coming at them, and it's Sherry and Dwight, and they kind of stop them. They're saying you're stealing from whoever, but and they kind of get into an entanglement, and one of them goes for their gun, tries to kill them, but Dwight ends up killing him. And the other guy is played by Alex Scubby. I'm not sure if I'm saying that wrong. If I am, just let me know in the comments. But he is married to Mo Collins, who plays Sarah in Fear the Walking Dead. So this is kind of cool that he is in this episode. But then eventually Sherry and Dwight, they're going out looking for different things, and they get caught by Strand's men, and they get taken back to where Strand is at the sanctuary, and you see this shot of Strand, and he's golfing, which of course invokes memories of a very arrogant governor way back in season 3. And of course, if we know Strand, he is very arrogant, and it just kind of reminded me back then, sort of a parallel of the two characters, because they're both very arrogant, both very sure of themselves, both had this built up area with supplies and everything. So that it just kind of reminded me of that. And then Strand's finally taking him on the tour, and you gotta love Dwight in this episode, because Strand's like going on about how basically he's got some of their friends there, but he saw Grace and Sarah and Morgan, and basically was saying that they're not good enough to be there, and and meanwhile Strand is trying to get Dwight and Sherry, who's known as the Dark Horses, to go find this woman named Mickey who had left him, and looking for their husband. And basically Dwight goes to him like, if you can't, let them in, then you can take that deal and kiss my ass, essentially. And I just love that that he brought that up. And then there was a Negan kind of mention, because Sherry said the fact that you even meant, this is called the sanctuary, is enough for me not to want to deal with it. And of course that goes back to The Walking Dead, and both Sherry and Dwight were part of Negan's group, and they lived at the sanctuary, so it was kind of bringing back vibes from that. And so they go off looking, and of course you got mentions of Padre. Where is this Padre? But someone's talking about this over the radio, and they're hearing it, but they go off looking for this woman, Mickey, who was looking for their husband, and they find her, and she's looks like she's preparing, putting together some sort of suit or whatever, and you got this walker or that's coming through the window who she kills, and they meet up with her there, and of course it's tense for a little while because she thinks that they're working for Strand. And oh my goodness, like Strand, played by Coleman Domingo, amazing actor, just is really playing this character well. But and this is a sign of a great actor when you start to feel anything about a character, whether you absolutely love them, you hate them, which is that's where we're going with Strand. With some of the things he's doing, as you're going to find out in this episode, because Strand is just going down to a darker and darker place, and what he did in this episode, ugh. But so Sherry and Dwight, they're telling Mickey that they want to help her find Cliff. They're not with Strand, and they go back to where Sherry and Dwight were living, and they see smoke coming up, and this was absolutely heartbreaking because they go in there and they see that they were murdered, and when the little girl came walking up, it gave me vibes back from season 2 when Carol's daughter was coming out of the barn. It just absolutely heartbreaking. And we find out later that, Alex Scooby. I know I'm messing this up, but we find out later when Dwight finds his horse, and because they had split up to Sherry and first he finds his horse, and Alex Scubby's character's there, and he kind of gets the upper hand on Dwight, but Dwight does a call to the horse, who kicks him in the back, and god damn, that's got to be painful. But eventually we find out that he was working for Strand, and Strand wanted him to go and kill that family, most likely to get at Dwight and Sherry. And then of course he just let the walkers eat him alive, which was another fantastic scene. But then this fun scene, like you see Sherry and Mickey, they're off on their own because Dwight is kind of losing his way a little bit. He's kind of losing faith, and he's wanting to go back to Strand because he thinks that's the only way. Because while Sherry said no, we can't do that, so her and Mickey go back to where Mickey and her husband Cliff had their own their own gym where they were teaching wrestling and everything. And if you go back to the scene where they found her, this is where Dwight learns of who she is. He's like, I know you from somewhere. And it was just like a little kid, just, and it brought back memories for me, as I was a huge wrestling fan, and just seeing what's coming next was really cool. But they eventually get through this herd of walkers and into the building, and they're deciding that they're going to get in the ring and kill them one by one. Eventually Dwight comes in, last minute heroics, and they're knocking out these one, and Mickey does a fucking tombstone to a walker. I never thought I would see that in anywhere in the Walk of the Universe, but watching these different moves that they were doing was fantastic. Absolutely fun episode. But at the end, we see the group that's been kind of eluding everybody, and they catch up with Dwight and Sherry, and they basically say, well first I wanted to Mickey did find out that Cliff died, and they decided we're gonna find something better. But at the end they find out that group that's been just kind of mysteriously the one that had the warhead and whatnot, and they basically tell them that we want to know where Padre is, and we know you're good at finding things, so we want you to work with us. So kind of interesting where this is going. Who I really want to know who's behind that group and what they're about, because it seemed like Strand doesn't know who they are, but maybe knowing Strand, how intelligent he is, maybe this group is just sort of pretending, that, or Strand is pretending that he knows nothing to do, has nothing to do with this group, and he's just sending them out kind of on their own, just sort of like spies, if you will. But or maybe it's someone completely different. But either way, I can't wait to figure out who that is. But really fun episode. This is everything's gearing towards Padre. What is that Padre? We still haven't seen Alicia. Alicia, last we knew, at least what we assumed, she was heading towards Padre, but this is all coming up to something where we kind of know what everybody's doing now. Next episode looks really cool because it looks like we're going to get some CRM stuff with Al and everything. But yeah, really fun episode. And man, Strand needs to get punched in the face. What he did though in this episode was really fucked up. But really enjoyed the episode. Love the wrestling aspect to it. I'm a huge wrestling fan, so having wrestling in this episode was really cool to me. And that fucking tombstone, holy shit. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode. Where you think we're going with this? What is Padre? Who is behind Padre? What are your feelings towards Strand? What do you think of the? Is Sherry and Dwight going to, they live by their code? Are they going to, fall in line with this group? Are they gonna, really want to help them? But as always, in all my reviews, I love to give shout outs. And this one is, I recently gave a shout out to my good friend Mark Prince, who has a group called LMFAO on Facebook. And we all need some laughs. It's a crazy world. And this is easily the funniest group I've been around. The memes, the jokes, the videos, you got to check it out. The link's in the description. Just, invite yourself to the group and you'll love it. And you'll have laughs for days. I've been in there since day one. Absolutely love the group. And I know you guys will love it too. So let me know in the comments what you thought, what you're hoping for in future episodes. And as always, I love you guys.